Hello Internet Nation, Alex and Ashley here, coming to you from possibly the best place to be turned into a snack. Middle of absolutely nowhere, sitting on a random bench supported by a random bridge in the middle of this random park. I'm coming to you guys today with part 3.5 of my series, The Meaning of the Temple Art. My last video, which was ironically an hour long, did not cover all of my self-made tattoos, and since then I've gotten more. Well, not so much. I've added to one and added a new one, and since then my palm tattoos have faded, as you can see, as well as my finger tattoo and the red dot on this hand. Totally depressing because hand tattoos are totally painful, and yeah, I should probably do less with my hands if I want them to last. So there's only like 6 left, but to start off I'm gonna go over what I added to my alchemy tats on my arms. Sorry, I was staring at myself. So yeah, those symbols are salt, and since I'm secretly an old man with Alzheimer's, I forgot what the other one meant, but salt in alchemy is the essence of the body, and this other symbol, I think sulphur? No, not sulphur. Phosphorus? No, it's not phosphorus. I think the other one is phosphorus, and that one is on my arm as well, but it's only a few dots that you can barely make out what it is. But salt is the essence of the body, and the one with the triangle is the essence of the soul. And if I remember to, when I go home and actually have connection, I will put right here what that one is actually called. Now I decided to, before I was supposed to put salt on my alchemy tat, because, you know, at the bottom of it we have our physical form, our physical essence, everything that is physical about life. But I decided to add 2 extra symbols when I went in to do it. The one representing spirit and the one representing soul. And of course, as difficult as it was doing the salt, it was even more so difficult doing the one that represents spirit. Or is it the soul? I will correct myself when I have internet. And yeah, it's basically the 3 aspects that make up the human. So you have alchemy, the symbol for alchemy, because I'm an alchemist, and I need a reminder because insecurity makes you forget. The symbol for refracted light, because we as beings of light are nothing but refracted light. The symbol for antimony, as a reminder to stay true to my animal nature. The symbol for salt, as a representation of the body. The symbol for, so I want to say sulphur. I want to say sulphur real bad, for the representation of spirit, and what may possibly be phosphorus for representation of soul. Or it could be the other way around. Sorry, I did this research very recently and I am very forgetful, and I do not have access to the internet while I'm in the outside world, therefore I do not know. I do not remember, and I cannot look it up right now. Yeah, next up we have the fun leg tattoos. The next one is this nice little mess of representation of meaning here. My glasses on to actually see all these little fuckers that are eating me. So maybe I can have a chance to save myself. But but they are tiny in this one location. But as I said, this is a good spot to be a meal, and I knew exactly what I was getting into. One day I'm going to come back out here when it's cold and they're all dead, and I'm going to enjoy this. It's probably not going to be as beautiful and lush as it is right now, but it should still be nice. But yeah, that tattoo. I've only told about 3 people to this day what it says, and I'm debating on whether or not I should tell you guys, my 34 subscribers and 5 at max people who watch this video. But what I will say is that it's a reminder of a very sentimental person in my life, as well as a remembrance of a very special time in my life in which I was periodically shattered and then forced to rebuild from the ground up. Now, yes, it technically is a name, but at the same time, it is an ink spot. And I was painting one day, and then I looked down, and then poof, it was just there. Like, I wasn't even working with black paint, and just poof, it was there. So I took it as a sign from the universe and decided to make it permanent, because I really liked the design, and it was incognito enough that I could have it there without people really realizing what it says. And at the same time, every time I look at it, I feel a surge of creative energy flowing through me. So yeah, it serves as a reminder as well as an increase in my creativity. But yeah, that's as much as I'm gonna tell you guys. Next up, we have my oh so painful knee tattoos. The first one is, I'm gonna go with the first one I did, which is this one. Can't get that one to position itself correctly, so you guys are just gonna have to suck it. So yeah, that one says intimacy, unity, and chaos in sentence format. So they are all separate entities. They represent what we want, what we need, and what we have, all as a collective race, I suppose. You know, being the human race. I believe the idea for that came to me one day. I wanted the word chaos on me. I decided to make it a triad, seeing as how those are 3 important things to me personally: intimacy, unity, chaos. Intimacy is something my life thoroughly lacks, seeing as how most of the people I know are very fake in their existences, and actual connecting is something that doesn't happen a lot for me, to me, in my everyday life with the people that I talk to every day. Unity is something that we need as a collective, something that I've experienced with a person, just the process of 2 people coming together as one. This is where I'd be joining my hands together, but I'm using the other one to hold the camera. So yeah, unity is one of those things that... Yeah, I had to pause the video real quick because a plane just went over and I wasn't sure if you'd be able to hear me over all that noise. But yeah, unity is one of those things that we as a collective race very much need, but refuse to acknowledge for some reason. And chaos is what we have and what we need, and as much as we don't want to admit it, we kind of need our chaos, because without it we would never grow. So they're just like 3 important aspects of life, as well as just 3 important things to me: what we have, what we want, what we have, and what we need. So yeah, next we have my other knee tattoo, which some of you Steven Universe nerds out there might recognize. So this one isn't as crisp as the other one, but that's okay. Like, I wanted them to be somewhat symmetrical, but you would have thought that I would have looked at the other one before starting this one. But, oh well, that's not who I am. It says flexibility, love, and trust, all one sentence, as opposed to the other one, which is 3 different sentences. This one is a line from, it's a line from the song Mindful Education. From the the song is Here Comes a Thought from the episode Mindful Education, and I instantly, well, actually, no, I don't want to say instantly because I watched the episode, thought it was okay. Then I watched like 3 reviews of the episode, and then listened to the song about 17 times, and then watched the episode about 5 more times, and then fell completely in love with the concept of it, because the song Here Comes a Thought kind of represents what goes into the perfect fusion relationship. And the way I see fusion is the perfect twin flame relationship, at least in Garnet's case, because Garnet is the masculine and the feminine coming together, as well as in Stevani's case, seeing as how Stevani is the masculine and the feminine coming together, ironically, the masculine being, in most cases, Connie, and the feminine being, in most cases, Steven. But yeah, the concept of the song being all you really need to consider in a situation such as fusion, such as 2 beings coming together to form this relationship, and a being existing as said relationship, is flexibility, love, and trust, which are the 3 things that go into the perfect relationship with oneself and others. And I decided to put it on my knee adjacent to my other triad tattoo, because those are 3 things that are very important to me as I live to exist as a fusion. For one needs to be flexible with themselves, because you're not always going to be perfect, and you need to understand that, and you need to be flexible with yourself. You need to give yourself leeway to fuck up, and accept that sometimes you're going to fuck up, because nobody's perfect, and if you are, then, well, that's not true, and that goes against everything I believe in. I believe everything is perfect as it is, if it's existing as it should be, which technically everything is according to the universe. Therefore, everything is perfect the way it is, and I don't have to agree with it. I just have to accept that it is what it is, and it will continue to be what it is, and it will be affected by me if it so chooses to be. The next thing you need is love, which is everything, and it is in everything, and it is important to everything, because in order to love another, you must first love yourself, because you cannot give what you cannot give to yourself. You cannot give away what you do not have. You cannot express what you do not understand. And if you don't know how to love yourself, then how can you truly know how to love another? And the last thing is trust, because you need to trust thyself to support yourself, to stand up for yourself, do what's best for yourself, and trust another, knowing that you are safe and free to give of yourself without being taken advantage of. The 3 things that go into the perfect relationship with everything. And the 3 things that we as a nation need and exist in: flexibility, love, and trust, intimacy, unity, chaos. Next up, we have an accurate representation, which is generally what I always call the alien female that I draw when I draw her. You know, clearly you wouldn't think this, but apparently mosquitoes have a sense of humor, because one bit me right in the middle of her face. So yeah. Originally, it started out as an alien with just the horns, the unicorn horn and the ram horn, And this is the origin of the alien that I draw everywhere. Like, this is literally the origin. At first, it was just, I wanted a tattoo of one of my favorite necklaces, which is a ram skull with a unicorn horn attached to it. I used to wear it all the time, but then it broke continuously, even after I tried gluing it back together. At first I drew the alien with the horns, and then gradually as I started drawing the alien, I made it a better, more accurate representation of this girl right here, by adding glasses, round glasses at that, and I do enjoy me some round glasses, and if I could afford new glasses, then I would get round ones in particular, and added dreads, because after a while, well actually no, after I drew her the first time, I gave her dreads. And so after a while, I just went in and decided to add glasses and dreads on her, and now she is what she is. I also colored the horns blue and purple, because her horns are like deep blue, deep iridescent electric blue with generally kind of like a white and pink pigment powder submerged in glow-in-the-dark paint, because reasons, yeah. So yeah, basically the alien is an accurate representation, and I keep saying that because she is an accurate representation, because I myself am an alien, and if I had horns, clearly I would have a unicorn horn for one, because I'm a unicorn, and if I had a horn, it would be right here, and as you can see, today I am an even more accurate representation, because if I had a horn, it would be here, and this is where my third eye would be, if we as humans had 3 eyes. Yeah. Well, it might be a little bit higher, but that's not where I put it. So yeah. She's a representation of me, because throughout the entirety of my life, I've basically been an alien in all situations. I've also been treated like an alien, and I've mostly been isolated from humanity because of my differences. I'm not entirely sure what instantly set me off, just the simple fact that I was born probably what they would consider a star child, I suppose. I know I was different, and I always thought different, and I've been alone in my thought processing for a very long time. I was always preaching the word of love, part of the Christ consciousness, as people like to refer to it as, and it set me apart from most people, so I've always felt quite alien. And the ram skull, ram horns are there because I suppose to represent my warrior nature, because I've always been a warrior for this beauty right here, all this good old earth stuff and whatnot. I've always been a warrior for that, and if I had horns, I'd probably have ram horns, because I like to headbutt stuff, and it's fun to be a ram. Next we have my very confusing ankle tattoos, which were possibly the first few tattoos I ever did on myself. Yeah, I'll show you those right now. So yeah, as you can see, it's a dot and a circle. That's all it really represents. No, I'm kidding. It's singularity is what that is. It's an extraordinarily simplified version of the universe, as well as a black hole. I wanted very simple, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Representative, starts with an S. Symbolic, there we go. Very symbolic tattoos to represent femininity and creativity, as well as source and mitosis, the essence of being and the essence of creating. I suppose I should show you the next one before I get into description, since they do technically go together and play off of each other. So yeah, the one on the left, the single one, represents the singularity. The one on the right, the double one, which kind of looks like two weird eyes and or boobs, represents mitosis. And it also represents femininity, while the one on the left, represents creativity. Yeah, that's correct. So yeah. Basically, as I said, I just wanted a very simple, symbolic representation of creativity and femininity, as well as the singularity and mitosis. Now, the singularity, it's like a point where everything starts, just where everything is together. It's one, it's single. So it's a cell, kind of, just a single point in existence. And then mitosis is, for those of you who don't know, it's the act of two-cell splitting. So how cells reproduce asexually, or like when a sperm penetrates an egg and they start to form a zygote, and then the egg goes from one single cell and splits into two, and then four, and then what have you until you have a child. Yeah. So basically that's what those are, and I put them on my ankle so they could be adjacent to each other. And as you can see, they are extraordinarily crude, because they're like the second ones I did, and as easy as it is for me to sit like this for an extended period of time, to sit like that and to then bend over the leg is rather uncomfortable. Therefore, they came out rather crude. It's also a very painful spot. Now I believe, aside from the last one, that is it. And yeah, this last one is Nordic Runes. And granted, I could have made them spell something, but I didn't. So for all you Nordic Rune fanatics out there, do not be on my case, because it doesn't say anything, technically. The alchemy symbols I kind of did yesterday and some of this morning. These aren't as like sore as the symbol for sulphur is, but yeah. Yeah. From top to bottom, we have, I don't know the sounds. I never looked into the sounds, only the meanings. From top to bottom, we have the symbol for God, human, self-sacrifice. Suddenly, I'm drawing a blank on what these mean. I'll be right back. Less ignorant than before. Okay, so they're in a very particular order, depicting a somewhat process of life. My life specifically, in which it tells a story of process, I suppose. The first symbol means God. A God, doesn't specify which God, just a God, any God, general God, which, you know, we are God, we exist as God, live life as God, if you choose to. Some people, they choose to give their power to God, a God, any old God, maybe not any old God, just a particular God. I choose to give my power to Source, which is me, therefore I am just as much God as I am not God, just as much God as the God that I serve. You know? You dig? The next one represents warrior. I'm a warrior, therefore that is what comes next. It also represents self-sacrifice, the God whose name I will not try to pronounce. It's like T apostrophe HR. But I am a warrior. First I am a god. Next I am a warrior for, as I said, this place. Right here. All this. All this. I'm an earth warrior. I protect things like this bee right here. I'm not going to show the bee because you're probably not going to see it anyway. Next is harvest, I believe. Ironically, I never remember the name of this symbol every time I see it. No, it represents humanity. So, yeah. The last one, warrior, also represents self-sacrifice. Not sure if I said that, but after self-sacrifice, we have humanity as a collective. All of it. After a god, after a warrior, I am a human, I think. Maybe. And then after that, we have the process of life, gain and growth, just going through life, living through your trials, your speculations, your hardships, your chaos, if you will. You live, you learn, you grow, hopefully, or else it repeats itself in a never-ending process of pain and suffering and self-sacrificing. Then after that, we have strength and courage, which takes a lot. It takes a lot of strength and courage to go through the process of life. My life, in particular, is not relatively as easy as most people's lives are. It's not difficult. It's just not what it could be. But that may be my own fault because of things that I still have to get past from my childhood. Yeah, and last but not least, we have stability, which is the biggest thing for me in particular, because stability is one of those things I have like this much of, and it's one of those things that I need a shit ton of, just in general, in all aspects of my life, you know? So, yeah, you guys, that's about it for my temple art for the moment. There are still pieces to come and pieces that still need to be done. Maybe one day I'll go into what else I have on the back burner waiting for funding. Until then, this has been Alex and Ashley with another arousing video for your minds. So yeah, I will see you guys next video. Goodbye. Know that you are loved by the magical time-traveling unicorn, and you are wonderful. Goodbye.